As you have already seen in the student required learning, those are the required things that you need to learn for this particular week. The first is the expression and operator, what you need to learn. Those are the important things that you need to learn. For the operators, these are the various things that you need to learn. In addition to the expression and operator, we need to discuss we need to learn those two things, exception handling and debugging. String is a part of the week 4, but I'll be discussing a little bit about the string because you need to use the F string. But I'm not going to discuss the string in detail in this class, in this week, probably some of the string things. But in week 4, I'll be discussing those things in detail. Okay, so the important things like debugging, exception handling, and expression and operator, and a little bit about the strings. Okay. Oh, okay. Before going to that, I would like to show you one last thing. You probably have seen this one, the all-in-one reading. I put everything in here. So probably you will find everything in this document. This is the long one, but you need to read it. In case you don't find it here, it's the option. In case you don't find it here, then textbook. Textbook, there are 2 versions of textbook, version 2 and version 3. Version 3 is interactive that I told you. Version 2 is like more detailed, like a textbook. In case you are not finding anywhere in those textbook, start from there. Or you can send me messages. Probably everything is there so far in my knowledge. In case if it's not there, I'll definitely add those things here. Okay, so jargons that we have already learned in the last week, like input, output, interactive mode. I would like to go through those jargon again so that you were used to with those jargons. What is the interactive mode, scripting mode, terminal, data type? What is the terminal?
Where everything gets executed.
Yes. Like in an interactive mode, we're running our Python in a terminal. But in the scripting mode, we can either use the terminal or we can use our IDE. Like VS Code is the IDE, interactive development environment software. This is the vocabulary we have learned: algorithms, syntax, semantics. I haven't covered syntax and semantic, but this class this week I'll be covering syntactical and semantic. Hardware we have already done. Binary digits, 1 and 0, programming languages, interpreter, compiler. Those are the important things. What's the difference between interpreter and compiler? Yes.
Interpreter does it line by line, and a compiler does it all at once.
Yes. Compiler is like compiling everything. If there is any error, then it will not run. Interpreter is like it will go through line by line. Yeah. Shell is also a term of type of terminal. We can use those things interchangeably. IDE, integrated, not the interactive, integrated development environment. Then data type, I will go through the data type again here. Type versus the value. The data type consists of set of values and set of operations that can be performed on those values. A literal is the way a value of a data type looks to a programmer. Integer or float are numeric data type that we already have covered. But the string is a different type of data. And what other types do we have learned? What are the data types that we are using in Python? Integer, float, string, and then Boolean. Right. So those are the 4 types. If it is a real number or integer, those are like integer or float. Character is a string. Those are the examples. And yes, no type is a Boolean. And I already have discussed these things, variable naming rule. Input function. What is an input function? So whenever you are using any function, like a built-in function, built-in means like it is inbuilt in Python, like an input function, like a round function. I told you to bookmark a page. Have you bookmarked it? Python built-in function. You need to bookmark this page so that you can find all of those functions. So what's the round function? Where's the round function? There's the round function. It returns number rounded to n-digit precision after the decimal point. That's what I've mentioned here. If n-digit is omitted or none, it returns the nearest integer or its input. That means if you're not writing anything, then it will print the nearest integer number. That means if you're not putting 2 or 3, it will print 136, the nearest integer. And what are the parameter? This is the real number and the n digit. In case of n digit, we need to use the 2 here for our project, right? What's the input function? Input function is the prompt. What's the prompt? I found some of you have submitted the project in this way. I told you, not the project, the assignment. For the lab 2, I told you to input function, write the prompt. You write this way, like print, enter, first number, then input function. So this is like a num1, for an example. This can work, but that's not what I expected. I told you to write the prompt as this. So why do you need to write the prompt? Here's the prompt. Instead of print, you write here, enter first number. So this is the prompt. You need to write this information in the prompt, not in the print statement and nothing in the prompt. They look like the same, but that's not what I was expecting. And this is true for the project. In the project, you need to write the prompt. The input prompt match what it shows. That means this is the prompt, right? How many citizens? If you're writing print how many citizens and input nothing, that means you're not following this rubric. Probably I'll read at some point. You write the prompt inside the input function. Does that make sense? But when you run the code, it looks like the same. But coding wise, it is not the same. Rubric wise, it is not the same. Okay. So if the prompt argument is present, it is written in the standard output like a terminal. Without a trailing new line, the function that reads the line from the input like a terminal and converts it to a string. That means input function automatically convert whatever you're writing in a string and it returns that. That means it is returning a string value. Again, how you can find what is the type of this value?
Use the type function.
Type function. Type is another function. If you are writing anything inside the type, like 1, 2, 3, even if it is an integer, but there is a code, we can write so we can use code for the string type of value. It will return a string type of value, even if it is an integer. I believe there is a type function here as well. Let me check. Yeah, there's a type function. With an argument, return the type of that object. The return value is the type object, generally the same object as return the type class. So it will return a class of string, class of integer, class of float, or some other data type. So whenever you're not sure, use the type function to know what is the type. Otherwise, if you're not converting this, if the value is 1, 2, 3, and the num value is 2, 3, 4, you're adding num1 and num2. It will return 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4 as a string. But probably we're expecting a different thing. What is the sum? 7, 5, 3, right? We're expecting 3, 5, 7. Instead, it will return this value. Still, this is string. The string plus a string is another string, but I'll let you know those things whenever we're covering the string. in week 4. But that's not what we're expecting. We're expecting 3, 5, 7. That means we need to know what is the type of num1, what is the type of num2. If both are integer or float, only then we can do that operation. Like an addition operation, right? Then we'll have this number 3, 5, 7. So yeah, so whenever you are using any built-in function, make sure you read that information from that page that I told you to bookmark. Then you'll know why we need to use it, what it returns. And whenever you're not sure what it is returning, use the type function to know what is the type of that value. After that, you can do that operation. Type conversion, this is important for your project, and I think you already have used that type conversion on the lab 2 or the PS lab. Like you are getting a string value from the terminal, and then you're converting to either integer or float. We haven't covered string yet. Rounding, I already discussed. There are different ways to round your value. Like int is a type conversion function, like int. What it will return? 6. The reason it is converting a float to integer. It is also sort of rounding. That means you're only expecting an integer part of whatever the floating value.
Instead of rounding, it just cuts off the decimal.
Yes, it's cut off the decimals. If you're using the round, what will happen? Like, if you're not putting any n-digit number, it will return the next positive integer, 7, right? If you're putting, no, see, if you're putting here 2 or 1, maybe, like comma 1. So round 6.75, then 1. What will be the output?
Actually. 6.8.
6.8, right? 1 decimal point. So 6, 7, 5. Next is it more than 5 or 5 or more than 5? That means 6.8. There are 2 other functions that you can use to round. But those are some library function. Math is another library. So there are 2 different things in Python. One is built-in function. Like Python has its own function, like integer, round, type, then what? Input. Those are Python built-in function. You can find those information from that page that I have mentioned. And then the second part is library function. That means I would like to use some math operation. Someone has created a math library, and then they have created some function. I can use their function. That means I need to import that library first, and then I can use their function. So math is one of the most popular library in Python. We can use 2 other functions in math, like floor or ceil. Floor or ceil will give you the same thing, the rounding. But as you know, floor is like floor, ceil is like ceil. It will give you the lower bound and upper bound. If you're putting 6.75 in the floor, you'll get the floating value like 6. If it is the ceil, it'll give the 7, like ceiling value. This is another way of rounding. But for our project, I told you need to use the round function specifically, and then 2 decimal points. This is strict specification. But as I told you, whenever you are solving any problem, you need to know different ways to solve this problem. So these are the ways you can solve the problem. But for the project, I ask you to do the exact same way, the second way, not the other 3 ways. Does that make sense? The same thing applies for the announcement that I have just mentioned, that you may know function, while loop, or other loops or conditionals, but you're not required to use those things. Because the assignments are designed in such a way that you don't need to use the advanced concept. The materials that we already have covered, you can utilize those things so that you will get mastered on those things. If you're using those other advanced things, then probably you're not getting master on those small concepts. This is true for all other assignment, and I'll post an announcement after the class. So do not do these things. Okay, so for the project, I told you this one, and I told you basically you need to round only 3 places that I have marked here. Whenever you're calculating mirror shear, whenever you're calculating top shear, and the crew shear. Those are the 3 places you need to use the round function. That's it. You don't need to use everywhere. Just 3 places. Okay. And the built-in function I have mentioned is the exact same link that I just shown you by searching Google. Those are some built-in functions that we need to use. You need to getting used to with some of the other functions like CHR and ORD that are helpful for the next project 2. But I'll go through those things later on. But whatever we have covered, input, type, round, integer, float, string, and len function will be using the string module later on. Okay, operators. What does it mean by an operator? Who can operate, right? To operate what? Some operation. Like I would like to do some addition. What is the operation? Addition. Now, what is the operator? The add sign is the operator. So there are like various types of operator that we are using in Python. So the add sign is the arithmetic operator. That means we are doing arithmetic operations. So arithmetic operation is one of them. Assignments operator. This is very simple. Then we will be using comparison and logical operators. Then some other places will be using memberships, identity, but we are not using any bitwise operator in this class. But you need to know those are the operators in Python. Okay, first the arithmetic operators. You probably have learned those things in 3rd grade or 2nd grade school class, like addition, subtraction, then division, multiplication. But here you need to know that some syntax in Python, like if you're using multiple asterisk signs, this is like an exponential. Exponential is like 2 power of 3, right? It's like 2 multiply 2 multiply 2. Since we're using multiply multiple times, that's why we're using multiply 2 times. Multiplication sign 2 times in case of exponential. So in case of 2 multiply 3, in the code we need to write 2 multiply 3. That means it is 2 power of 3. It is not 2 multiply 3, it is 2 power of 3. So there are 2 types of division here. This is weird. We know only one type of division in class, not good class, but in Python we have like 2 types of division. One division will give you the real division, and another division, like division, it will return the quotient. Then the remainder, the 2 divided by 5. What is the quotient of this one? It should be 5 divided by 2 actually. So 5 divided by 2, we can divide this way, right? So 2 multiplied 2 is 4. The remaining part is 1, right? So this is the quotient and this is the remaining part. So if we are using this 5, it's like a percentage sign, 2, it will give you the quotient, the remaining part of the quotient. And this operation is called like modulus operation or mod. If it is like 4 divided by 4 modulo 2, it is like a 0. Okay. So this is called like modulo operator. This is the new one. And you can see there is 2 types of subtraction. One is like single operation, like if you're using negative something, then it is like a unary operator, not a binary operation. You can see here, there are like at least 2 operands, right? But here there is only 1 operand. That means if you like to convert a positive number to negative number, you can use the negation sign. But the negation sign and subtraction sign are the same, but it depends on how much operand you are using. If it is 1, it is unary, that is negating. If it is 2, that is subtracting. Okay. And there are some shorthand in increment and decrement. I already have discussed the division and multiplication things, power and mod. So shorthand is like sometimes you need to increment and decrement one at a time. So I would like to use like val is equal val plus 1. That means whatever the val value, so val value is maybe 10. What I'm going to do here, here's the 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. And then we're assigning the same value to the val, like the reassignment. So again, this one is an assignment operator, equal sign. Not equal, just equal sign. The one equal sign is assignment operator. So we're assigning 10 to this variable. And here we're doing operation like addition operation. 10 plus 1, what is the value? 11. Then 11 will be assigned to here, like a reassignment to that value. If you're printing here the val value, it will print 11. But here it will print 10. We are doing some operation and reassigning it. Yes.
In some other programming languages, there's a shorthand to add one.
That's what I'm telling you here.
Yeah.
The increment and decrement shorthand.
Oh.
So val is equal val plus 1 can be written this way. Val plus equal 1. This is weird, but this is the syntax. So plus equals 1 means like we are using the same variable and adding 1. This is the increment shorthand. This is the exact same thing. You can write either one. If you are adding 10 instead of 1, you can write here like this. Val plus equal 10. If it is like val is equal val minus 10, you can write val minus equal 10. So this is the shorthand of writing this line. But you learn those things eventually on later project or later. So whenever we're like discussing some advanced concept, I'll be going through those lines again and again. But right now, don't worry about the shorthand things. Just stick with those standard one. But you need to learn those things from here. Okay. Then the preceding rules, whenever you have a statement or expression, like let's say like equation, I'm writing an equation like 10 plus 20 minus 30 multiply 10 modulo 5. Okay, there is a complex operation here, including addition, subtraction, multiplication, and modulus. Can I go this way first, or that way first, or starting from here? Whenever you have this type of situation, you need to follow the precedence rules. I think you already have learned these things in your math class, like PEMDAS. P stands for parenthesis, E for exponent, M for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, S for subtraction. In our case, let me remove the module operator here, the multiplication or division. To start with the parenthesis, there is no parenthesis here. If I'm writing parenthesis here, that means I need to start from here. 20 minus 30 is like negative 10, right? Then exponent, there is no exponent. Multiplication, here's the multiplication. Multiply 10, that means minus 100. Then division, divided by 5. that means minus 20. Then addition and subtraction. So there is one addition here, plus 10. That means negative 10 is the answer. Okay. So whenever you have a complex situation, you need to follow this rule, PEMDAS. What is the answer of this one? 3 multiply A multiply 3, that means exponential, and B plus 5, then plus C. What are the value of A, B, C? 2, 3, 4. Instead of A, I'm writing 2, B, 3, C, 4.
There's a division between 3 and B plus 5.
Oh. Okay. So which one is first? The parent is right. 3 plus 5, 8. Then exponent 8. 8 divided by 8. Before 8 divided by 8, I need to go to the multiplication. That means 8 multiplied 3. That means 24 divided by 8. 3 plus 4, 7. Right? Okay, I think we don't have time today. So next class, I'll be covering Boolean operator and some other operators. And keep in mind, the next class will be in the SA building 402, not here. Okay. And I will also send an announcement in case anyone needs this class. There's no. Okay. You must read the project description before coming to the next class so that you have some questions. Okay. All for in the next class.